Good evening. Welcome to the February 10th, 2025 meeting of the Stillwater City Council. This time I'll call the meeting to order and I'll ask that you all stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilors, item 3 on the agenda is the consent docket. Questions, comments, or action on the consent?
Mayor, I have a verbal correction to the proposed minutes. On item 5F of the minutes, I'm going to request a correction from the city clerk under on page 2, roll call votes. It currently shows as an abstain by Councilor Clark. It needs to show that Councilor Clark did not vote and did not participate on that item. And with that change, I would recommend approval of the amended proposed minutes.
Councilors?
I move approval of consent as amended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve consent. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the consent docket is approved as amended. Takes us to item 6, general orders. 6A is a Western Payne County Ambulance Trust Authority presentation. Christy Cluck, you want to kick us off? Jerry's not here yet. We're going to skip item 6 for now. We'll come back to that. Item 7 is ordinances. On first read, we have ordinance 3555, an ordinance amending the Stillwater City Code by amending Chapter 29, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Administration and Enforcement, Division 1, generally, Section 29-32. Duties of the city manager by specifically allowing the city manager to limit or extend existing established parking time limits and waiving other parking restrictions as deemed necessary during special events, repealing all ordinances to the contrary, and providing for severability and declaring an emergency.
These ordinances are being proposed at the request of the city manager's office and the Parks and Community Resources departments. Over the past several years, they've identified a need to grant some additional flexibility to the city manager's authority to respond during times of special events. This ordinance, 3555, does authorize the city manager to limit or extend existing established parking time limits by having appropriate signs placed thereon and to waive other parking restrictions as deemed necessary during special events. There is also a minor revision to this current ordinance. It does provide for an appeal process. However, the current ordinance allows an appeal to the city council and then also to the district court. In accordance with state statute, my office has been unable to determine a state statute that authorizes the appeal to the district court, so we've just stricken that provision. There is still an appeal process for an aggrieved party to appeal to the city council once the city manager exercises that authority. Okay. And so we would ask that you would consider approval of this ordinance. Also proposed this evening is to approve an emergency clause. It being in the best interest of the public peace, health, and safety, that we declare an emergency due to the timing of some events that will occur. And with the passage of the emergency clause, the ordinance goes into effect concurrent with the publication date, which would allow the city manager to authorize some designated parking if needed for some events that will be here soon.
Thank you, Ms. Carnley. Just for a reminder, do we have to advance the ordinance and the emergency clause separately, or does the emergency clause just get voted on later?
Yes, I would ask that at first reading and second read that you approve it by 2 separate actions.
Gotcha. Councilors, questions about the ordinance or action on the item?
Motion to advance ordinance number 3555 to second read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to advance the ordinance to second read. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, ordinance 3555 is advanced to second reading. Is there action on the emergency clause?
Motion to add the emergency clause to that ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to also advance the emergency clause. Please vote. That is approved with a vote of 5-0. Along those same lines, ordinance 3556, an ordinance amending the Stillwater City Code by amending Chapter 33, Parks, Events and Recreation, Article 1 in general, Section 33-15, Camping Prohibited, exceptions by specifically allowing the city manager authority to grant overnight camping in city parks and public areas during special events, repealing all ordinances to the contrary, providing for severability, and declaring an emergency.
This proposed ordinance change is companion legislation to the proposed changes just discussed in the parking code. This is to address camping prohibited. The code currently allows for exceptions. It specifically says couch park during special events as approved by the parks director or the city manager. This proposed change would just add additional flexibility. We would remove couch park and just say during special events as approved by the city manager, unless to do so would cause damage to city property. This additional flexibility would just allow the city manager to evaluate, both with city staff and the legal department, as to where best to designate this exception. And we would ask that you consider advancing this with the emergency clause as well.
Counselors?
Is this something that we've had in the past at Couch Park, where we've had folks camping for large events?
The code allowed for Couch Park to be one of the approved by the city managers, and there was a request by the Mid-South group to allow for parking that only was contained within parking spots. And I believe it was utilized last year during the Mid-South with Block 34 being closed off to camping that they had done in previous years. Mm-hmm. And so this just expands the opportunity, allows some for flexibility, but the areas that will be designated will be clearly marked. It will be clearly communicated to the community through maps on social media or to the event coordinators and to our police department so that everyone is on the same page.
Yeah, I feel like that communication is probably really important here. Like I just read, it kind of seems a little alarming to think people are going to be camping in our public parks, but certainly around events, that makes a lot of sense. I think just messaging that so that folks aren't alarmed when they see that would be really important.
Mm-hmm.
Further discussion or action on the item?
Motion to advance ordinance number 3556.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to advance the ordinance. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, ordinance 3556 is advanced to second reading. Is there action on the emergency clause?
I move to advance the emergency clause.
Second.
A motion and a second to advance the emergency clause. Please vote. The vote of 5-0, that's approved. We'll do item 7A, which is, item 7, second read A, ordinance 3554, ordinance on second reading, an ordinance rezoning attractive land containing approximately 6.8 acres located at 2020 West Airport Road, area referred to as 3111 North Hargis Road, from light industrial to public. This is our animal control facility land. Counselors?
Motion to adopt ordinance number 3554.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the ordinance. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, ordinance 3554 is adopted. All right, we'll go back up to item 6 on the agenda for our report from the Western Payne County Ambulance Trust Authority.
Good evening. Christy Cluck, Assistant City Manager and Finance Director. The Western Payne County Ambulance Trust Authority did approach the city recently requesting to present to the council regarding an update to their service and their rate structure. And so before I turn the podium over to the chair of the Ambulance Trust Board, I thought I would provide some context as far as how the city interacts with the Trust Board. So in December of 2010, the Stillwater Utilities Authority entered into agreement with the Ambulance Trust to collect and remit subscription fees. So since that time, our utility customers have been charged a $5 subscription fee each month on their utility bill. So that is a voluntary program, but the customers do have to complete an opt-out form if they choose not to participate. The SUA then remits the cash that's collected from the subscription fee each month. The SUA strictly serves as a pass-through and doesn't keep any of the subscription fee and does not charge any kind of administrative fee for the billing, collection, and remittance of that subscription fee. And so I will now turn the podium over to Jerry Moeller, who is the chair of the trust board.
Mayor and councilors, I was here 2 years ago for the last update. So Western Payne County Ambulance Trust Authority, I am the chairman, by the way, was created in 2010 to take over the ambulance services from the fire department. 2011, we contracted with LifeNet, a not-for-profit provider out of Texarkana, Arkansas. And they continue to provide that service today. The funding, as Christy alluded to, comes from the resident benefit program, which is the $5 charge on the utility bills. Next slide, please. Do I control that? Right there.
Yeah.
Okay, I do. The beneficiary of the trust is both the city of Stillwater and Payne County, which is a bit unusual, but there are 5 members and they're appointed by various entities. You can see that I'm appointed by the Stillwater Medical Center. They have one by Oklahoma State. Your appointee is Elaine Ackerson. The Harlan Wells is appointed by the Payne County Board, and Cassie Wilson by City of Perkins. City of Perkins and City of Glencoe alternate every 3 years because they both participate in the resident benefit program. This is the service area that we cover. The black outline is all of Payne County. The shaded area, the blue, is our service area. Includes Stillwater and all of western Payne County. As you can see, Cushing covers the eastern part of the county. That service area was inherited by us from the fire department. That's what they covered, so that's what we covered. This is volume, 911 volume. That's emergency response. You call 911, the ambulance comes, and that's considered a emergency response. You see a steady increase in volume, and you see a steeper increase in the last 5 years, like 45% increase. This is interfacility transfers. This is a transfer from the hospital to a nursing home, or from a hospital, Stillwater Medical Center, to a hospital in Oklahoma City or Tulsa. Again, you see a steady increase, but you see a dramatic increase in the last 2 years. That's 45% in just 2 years. And 2024 was pretty remarkable. That's a big number. And it's challenging because half of our transfers are to Oklahoma City and to Tulsa. And that takes a truck off the road from 3 to 3.5 hours for total time. I can only attribute that to that volume to a very busy Stillwater Medical Center emergency department. So. This is total combined annually, which obviously follows the same trend. When we started the service, we started with 2.5 trucks or ambulances on the road. We recently added another 12 hours truck because of the increase in volume of transfers. So now we have 5.5 trucks on the road, 5.5 ambulances, 24 hours a day, staffed with at least one paramedic in every ambulance. This is very busy, but I don't know if you can take your iPad, but I'm going to point out the upper left quadrant. I'll have to put my glasses on. So membership fees, upper left, this is where we get our money. So Central Rural Electric joined the resident benefit program in 2014. It's been extremely helpful. City of Perkins, City of Stillwater, individual. Noble County again, we inherited parts of Noble County, which is west and north of the airport, I guess because we're closer than Perry is. So when they passed a partial ad valorem tax and sales tax to fund their emergency medical services, then they reimburse us for the part that we cover. Town of Glencoe, those are all the ones that participate. On the upper right is the percentage of each of those entities provide of our total revenues. I would point out the 1, 2, 3 down. City of Stillwater provides 76.99% of all our revenues for the operation of the ambulance service. I have to give a shout out to Dana Maddox, who was the head of the utilities department when we started this program, and continues to this day, and does a wonderful job in making this work for us. The third area I would point out is the third from the bottom. You don't really have to see it. All you have to do is recognize that it's red. And that's our net income. So 5 out of the last 6 years are in the red. 2023 was a bit of an outlier because they could collected some past receivables in that year. So we're operating on reserves, and they're starting to run out. Therefore, that brings us to the need for a $5 increase in the $5 charge. It's lasted 14 years, but obviously the expenses of LifeNet have increased, and then the need for our subsidy to pay them those increases has increased as well. So if we go to $6, which we plan on doing, we think that will cover our needs for the next 10 years. The desire of the city is to have a stuffer in the utility bill explaining the reason for the increase, and to announce an effective date of July 1st. Further, it will also give the customer an opportunity to opt out using the same opt-out process that they currently use now in the utility office. Finally, our trust will pay for the cost of that stuffer. And that concludes my presentation. If anyone, I'd be happy to answer some questions.
Thank you, Jerry. Councilors, any questions?
Could you talk, just for anyone who may not be maybe unsure of this, what the $5 that we currently pay,
Mm-hmm.
what does that cover exactly, and or what doesn't it cover? Because I know there's also I know through the university I have ambulance insurance.
Uh-huh.
So what is covered by that, and what
Okay.
isn't covered?
Well, for the customer who has it, you're transported by the ambulance. We file for your insurance, and whatever we collect, we write the rest off. There's no copay to you. There's no deductible. If you have no insurance, or if Medicare declines your claim, you still have to have a medical need with Medicare, then we will write off 40% of it. So that's what it covers.
Okay.
And what it really covers is providing emergency medical services to the city of Stillwater. So, I mean, that's the big benefit.
So if you opt out, you don't have that benefit?
No, we don't pick you up. No.
You don't have the benefit.
No.
Just kidding, folks.
Just kidding, Mayor. Of course, we will pick you up. Yes, we will pick anybody up,
But they'll get billed.
You just might get charged for it. So.
Yep.
Can you give me an idea of what the cost of an ambulance run is when you're not
Oh
donating a
gosh,
$5 fee?
I could have calculated that, but I can tell you that our annual subsidy is last year was $1.5 million, and it can go up to 3% a year. However, we also under contract have to provide for extraordinary services, and with that volume increase you saw, and if we have to add more trucks on the road or more hours, we'll have to pay for that. So, no, I can't tell you. Now, are you asking what we would charge?
No,
Oh,
if
what
I
it would
don't,
cost.
if I don't opt into if I've opted out of the $5
Mhm.
fee, and an ambulance comes to take me to the hospital, about what am I going to be charged for that run?
Well, that would be about between $3,000 and $3,500.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to get.
I'm
Thank
sorry,
you. I didn't ask my question very well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
maybe I didn't understand it. So, okay.
All right, Jerry, something I've been wondering about lately is if, let's say you live at Golden Oaks in the independent living. You get trash pickup from us, but you don't get billed by us. Is someplace like that going to be paying some kind of a fee where their residents are covered by the plan, or are they just out of the plan? Do you know?
Okay, now what areas are you talking about?
I'm talking about Golden Oaks specifically, but
Oh.
it could be any place like that in town.
Yeah. There are people in Golden Oaks that have an individual plan.
Mhm.
And so when you see the individual up on the spreadsheet, that are those people. So you can participate, and
Okay.
and they do.
So that's for folks who don't get any kind of utility bill from the
Right.
city for anything.
Right.
They can also opt in independently.
They can, and some do.
So one more question, just curiously. Helicopter service. That's not part of your program whatsoever, correct?
What is that?
Helicopter service?
It is not.
Okay.
It is not. If you're a Medicare patient, helicopter service is covered, but everybody else is on their own. So
And just so everyone's on the same page, this is an independent. The trust authority runs this service. This is not. You guys aren't asking us for a fee increase. This
Yeah.
is something that you all determine from your board's standpoint as an independent determination that this is what's needed.
that is correct. The trust is a separate entity, but we want your approval because most of our revenue comes from your utility bill and the way you operate the service for us. So as we discussed before, that's why I wanted you to know, and we would make it work for you all.
Yeah. Well, we certainly appreciate the chance to hear about and talk some about the service. And I mean, I think a 20% fee increase once in 14 years is a pretty efficient use of that money. So it certainly makes sense, given the rising cost of everything over the past 14 years, that a small $1 increase in this would be reasonable. So I'm glad to hear that our billing and Dana's team are doing a good job of collecting that for you all, and appreciate the service that you continue to provide to the city of Stillwater.
Appreciate your all service. You do the heavy lifting, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that takes us to item 8 on the agenda, which is appointments. We actually have 3 different folks on the Stillwater Regional Airport Advisory Board, one whose term actually expired last January, and 2 whose expired this January. All 3 of them are willing to be reappointed to new terms. And so I would move that we reappoint Bill Arrington to a second 3-year term, which would expire in January of 27. Reappoint Denise Roberts to a 3-year term that would expire in January of 28, and reappoint Mindy Murray to a 3-year term that would expire in January 28 as well.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for those 3 appointments to the Regional Airport Advisory Board. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, those appointments are made. Thank you again to folks who are willing to serve on the Airport Advisory Board and all of our other volunteer boards here in the city of Stillwater. Reports from the officers and board. Ms. Carnley?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Moore?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The Stillwater Electric Utility has once again demonstrated its commitment to excellence, earning a first place honor from the Municipal Electric Systems of Oklahoma, what we call MISO around here, for both their electric operations and reliability and their safety. So for the second year in a row, they have been awarded this first place honor. And so in 2023, just a little statistic, we had a 99.9% reliability rate, and we had more than 118,000 work hours with no reported safety incidents. So SEU continues to set a high standard in the industry, and these awards definitely reflect their expertise. We're proud to have such a strong public power provider serving our community, and so we extend our gratitude to SEU, Director Lauren Smith and his entire team for the excellent work that they do providing our community. So shout out to them.
That's fantastic. We are very blessed in this community to have such a high performing public utility system. Yeah, we appreciate all that work. Vice Mayor Jalowski.
Yes, it's hard to believe this, but it's that time of year to file taxes, and the Stillwater Library is offering assistance. Community members can schedule appointments for free tax preparation assistance from the American Association of Retired Persons by scheduling AARP, by scheduling an appointment online at stillwaterok.gov/library taxes, or by calling 405-372-3633, extension 8106. Appointments are available now through April 8th. Please know the library will still help schedule appointments and be a pickup location for intake packets, but appointments will take place at the community center due to construction at the library.
It's a great service. Thank you.
It's a great service.
Councilor Hawkins.
City offices will be closed off for President's Day on Monday, February 17th. That's next Monday. Trash, recycling, and yard waste will still be collected. Make sure and set your carts out by 6 a.m. because collection routes can vary. For more information, go to stillwaterok.gov/waste management.
Thank you. Councilor Clark.
Please join us for the Parks Open House on Thursday, February 20, beginning at 5:30 p.m. at the Stillwater Community Center. It's only 10 days away. It's coming close. Stillwater staff and council members look forward to hearing your suggestions, concerns, and ideas about Stillwater parks, community spaces, and facilities. We want to ensure our parks and public spaces meet the needs of our residents and families. There will be sign-ups for volunteer opportunities, and we plan to share information collected from recent park surveys. If you're unable to attend the Parks Open House and would like to receive updates following the event, email Barbara Bliss at barbara.bliss@stillwaterok.gov. And for more information, go to stillwaterok.gov/parks.
Looking forward to that discussion. It should be a good evening.
Absolutely.
Councilor Harden.
The city is accepting applications for various committees, including Board of Adjustment, Board of Drainage Appeals, and Building Trades Boards. Committees are essential for increased development and for infrastructure projects within our community. If you would like to get involved in your local government and help make Stillwater an even greater, please consider serving on one or more of these boards. For more information or to apply, go to stillwaterok.gov/citizensboards. If I can do an off-agenda item.
Please do.
So we have some folks that are visiting us today from the OSU College of Engineering, Architecture, and Technology. It's the student council. It's the lead part of the student council. They're interested in how to get involved in local government. So I'd like to say thank you all for coming. Appreciate you coming. We need to have more students interested in local government, and when you graduate and get out there, please get involved. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Really excited to have you all. Hopefully you're registered to vote here in Stillwater. We have some
there were some blank looks there for some reason.
big things coming up. You should be registered to vote in Stillwater.
You
can
live
vote
in
here.
Stillwater, you should vote here.
Absolutely. One of the reasons is what I'm going to talk about now. There's a proposition to construct a new animal welfare facility on the April 1st, 2025 ballot for voters to consider. Throughout the next several weeks, staff will be presenting and discussing details of the proposition and time project with local organizations, stakeholders, and residents. If you'd like additional information about the project, or would you like to schedule staff for a presentation, go online to stillwaterok.gov/time or contact Dawn Dodson at 405-742-8214 or email dawn.dodson, D-O-D-S-O-N, at stillwaterok.gov. Also, the deadline to register to vote in the April 1st election is March 7th. Registering to vote can be done by mail, online, or in person at the Payne County Election Board, whose website is paynecounty.org/election-board. All residents of Stillwater have an interest in our new animal welfare facility. That includes students. You are residents of Stillwater who are eligible to vote in this community. We hope that you will register and vote. And we'll certainly hope that people will learn more about the animal welfare facility for the April 1st ballot. Any further items for this agenda? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the city council. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the Stillwater City Council is adjourned. And at this time, I will call to order the Stillwater Economic Development Authority meeting for February 10th, 2025. Trustees, action on the consent docket.
Mayor, I actually have one correction to those proposed minutes. Just need to get there.
Taking them out of order just for you.
It's okay. Okay, requesting one correction. City Manager Brady Moore's title in connection with the Trust Authority should be General Manager. So with that proposed correction, I would recommend approval of the minutes.
Trustees.
I move approval of consent as amended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve consent as amended. Please vote. It's approved with a vote of 5-0. And next up is this Visit Stillwater semi-annual report.
Good evening. Thank you all for allowing me some time to spotlight some of the accomplishments the first half of the fiscal year for the Visit Stillwater team. As the chair of the board, I continue to be amazed at the remarkable work of a really small but mighty team at the Visit Stillwater office. There are a couple of notable achievements that I'd like to highlight. You all have received the full 30-page packet, so I won't belabor all the details. But I'd like to highlight a couple of things first in the communications and marketing category. Several things that we do on a regular basis, daily, in fact, just to call your attention to the community calendar, which we update daily and on regular occurrences. The website and microsites have received over 500,000 page views. Each day we post at least one social media post. In fact, our Facebook has reached just under 4 million impressions with over 40,000 followers, which means probably a lot more to the students that are here than those of us who are not quite as acquainted with the social media activity. Our very own Christy Morrison is also the co-host on TV 31's The Morning Edition to spotlight events and activities and businesses. Weekly, we produce a detailed calendar for distribution. We also share event information on live local radio 3 mornings a week and record at least one podcast. Every month, the team produces a 60-second promo video from multiple outlets and distribute our e-newsletter to over 9,000 subscribers. We mail the Still in the Know postcards, which you all have seen, to over 400 local businesses, and also send calendar and events to all local newspapers, and also to blogs that we write and publish every month. And again, I say we as though I'm a contributor here. It really is the small but mighty Visit Stillwater team. Also, you may have seen a column in the News Press, a visitor development column that has been written by the Visit Stillwater team as well. Quarterly, you'll see 30-second commercials for use by the Visit Stillwater and the city and the chamber. And then our rack cards, which continue to be very popular. Every quarter we distribute 10,000 rack cards featuring local events and activities available at local hotels, the airport. These rack cards are available at hotels, the airport, 24/7 Visitor Center, City of Stillwater Community Center, as well as Stillwater and Perkins on queues. So annually, from a communications and marketing perspective, we produce the expanded 48 pages Stillwater Guide to the Local Scene. This year, 100,000 copies featuring the 50th anniversary of our beloved Eskimo Joes on the cover. We've also coordinated 2 of our 4 Shop Local and Fly SWO campaigns this year. So July was Crazy Days, which generated $69,000 in sales, and the second annual Fly Home for the Holidays campaign, which generated over $79,000 in sales. A couple of other just points of highlight in regard to communications and marketing. The team has managed 10 microsites or landing pages. These are a personal favorite for me. I visit them on the regular. One was Lexicon to an OSU home game, an OSU Home Game Day Guide, which is one that is most often frequented, and Stillwater Tidbits in History in the original home of Red Dirt Music, which has been popular this season as well. Last year we produced the Kids Visitor Guide for Highland Park Elementary, and this year we produced a welcome and resource brochure for our Spanish-speaking residents and visitors. As you all know, we maintain the visitor stands at the Stillwater Regional Airport and also provide the most beloved free gourmet coffee bar for our outbound passengers. The Fly SWO is consistently promoted within all of our marketing efforts, and then we've enhanced some partnership there, as I'm sure you all have seen over the course of this year, and we feel really proud of that partnership. In addition to that, our team has sponsored and assisted with planning many community-wide events, including Boomer Blast, Draft Horse event at the Payne County Fair, Holiday Parade of Lights, the 24-foot lighted Christmas tree, our Holiday Heroes and Drone Show, Lake McMurtry's Lights on the Lake, and Martin Luther King Jr.'s commemoration event, and all of the Downtown Association and Stillwater Children's Museum as well. This year we had the opportunity to partner with OSU Athletics to spearhead a new initiative, Orange Glow, which is a new OSU tradition, and you all may have seen that we handed out 200 orange light bulbs and recognized businesses and individuals who changed their lights to orange to celebrate the kickoff of a football season. Also, we had an inaugural this is a tongue twister, inaugural winter window decorating contest and had over 20 businesses sign up to participate. Last but certainly not least, on the sales and service side, a couple of notable facts that you may have seen in your packet. So far this year, we have already approved over $71,000 in grants and sponsorships, which is estimated to yield 25,000 plus visitors a day, 10,000 plus overnight visitors, and more than $2.7 million in visitor spending. Also, we provided assistance so far this year at 554 events, which equated conservatively to a little over $424,000 in services provided. Also, a highlight you can take with you as a good note, I'll leave you with this. In December, the visitor tax was trending 115% ahead of the previous year and is currently sitting at 65% of the same time last fiscal year. And this equates to a little over $500,000, a little over $500,000 for the development and maintenance of visitor development and quality of life amenities. Right before this, I think Christy said, in fact, that really mid-year, we're further along than where we were for the whole year last year. So that's a really great place to be. Another just quick fact, our lodging information for hotels and short-term rentals is in a little bit different format this year, and it's provided by Zardico, and it is based on actual transactions rather than self-reported. So with actual transactions from Zardico, we know that 41% of the devices in Stillwater came from visitors, and 40% of the spend came from visitors, and the average daily spend by visitors was $280. I say that as my data counselor Hawkins here would like the data. That concludes, you bet. That concludes our report, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Blair. Trustees?
I will say that data was really cool to see. That was really, it'll be so interesting to watch that kind of trend coming in consistently with that same metric to really start to understand the impact of all the work that is happening in Stillwater and just the trends of all of that. So I did love that data, but I also wanted to just comment on something in the report that it sometimes I think is like it's missed a little bit in all the work that you all do, is this just how much your involvement across committees and across all the different groups. You really are some of the glue that holds that together, and it's really impressive. There's just, one small paragraph in the report that kind of talks about that and lists all of that out, and it's just remarkable to see how many of the different organizations that you're interacting with and helping kind of make sure the impact of the tourism aspect, but also just placemaking and building a vibrant community is there. And I really appreciated that. I think it's kind of in the report that you just gave us, but I just wanted to mention, I think that's a pretty remarkable thing as well.
Thank you. That is a testament to Christy and Nicole and their leadership. And we have a really great board. I know you all know many of our board members as well, but it's a good team and committed to the community.
And I would make my usual plug of you guys have the best calendar ever. So for anybody listening, if you ever need to know what's going on in Stillwater, go to the Visit Stillwater website. It is a fantastic calendar.
It is great.
You're new in town and you're trying to find new things to do and see what's going on. It's a great place. So I think
Even for the veterans in town.
yes,
it is.
and I say that, I think I say that every time, but I'm always every time I get the monthly update and I look out there, I am astounded at everything that you all compile.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Well, I will be curious to see what our numbers look like 6 months from now after this little April event with all these.
I know.
I have no idea what's going to happen there.
It's
And I assume
exciting.
you guys already have it all planned out, right?
It'll be great. We are all excited about
Yep.
it. Yes. Thank you.
To that effect, I mean, I know there's mention here of the microsite around the Boys from Oklahoma event, and for
Yes.
people who are coming into town, that's going to be a big deal for us to communicate to them where they can park, all of that sort of stuff. And so really appreciate the fact that we're going to have that information consolidated in one place, and we'll be sending a lot of people to that site, I am sure. I'm really excited about this Zartico data in here, and I look forward to working and talking to Christy more about those numbers and refining that, because I love to see those numbers, and I'm really interested to see how they change. I think it's remarkable and something we should talk about more. 40% of spend in Stillwater came from visitors. I think we kind of know that anecdotally in a lot of ways, but that's a big deal, because those people are not here all the time. They're not here driving on the roads every day like I am. Yeah. But their money is going to fix the same roads that we're driving on. And the more we can bring those dollars in from other places, the more, the farther they go for our residents to see improvements that they didn't have to pay for themselves. And that's a huge, huge deal. That's one of the reasons we invest money in destination marketing, to make sure that we're bringing those people to town. And to be able to see those numbers and to kind of keep some track on that, to see how well we're doing that, is going to be really exciting. So I appreciate you guys adding that to the report.
Yes. Thank you.
I was going to just add there too, with that data, there was some short-term rental data in there as well, that hopefully, I know that's been a bigger discussion in the community, and we've had a special session about it at council. So hopefully that's information that I'm sure is being shared, but hopefully we're understand all the information and data that we can grab from that as well, so we can better understand our short-term rental market.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you being here. All right. Any reports from the officers of the board? Is there a motion to adjourn SEDA?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second to adjourn Stillwater Economic Development Authority. Please vote. This meeting's adjourned with a vote of 5-0. At this time, I'll call to order the Stillwater Utilities Authority meeting for February 10th, 2025. Trustees, well, is there anything on the consent docket we need to worry about on this one?
This one's good to go.
Minutes are ready. Trustees, any action on the consent docket?
Motion to approve the consent docket.
Second.
With motion and a second to approve consent, please vote. Consent docket's approved with a vote of 5-0. Takes us to resolutions. Resolution number SUA-2025-1, a resolution authorizing and approving the submission of a grant application for fiscal year 2024 Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities. Grant funds administered by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security through the Federal Emergency Management Agency for the secondary raw water delivery system project, and identifying the required grant matching cost share funds, and authorizing the chair or vice chair to execute any related grant documents.
So the BRIC grant program makes federal funds available to local governments for hazard mitigation. SUA has identified an eligible water project. It's the secondary raw water delivery system project. The estimated total project costs are $66,666,666.67. Thank you, Shelley. The anticipated cost share for the BRIC grant program is up to 75% federal grant funds and 25% SUA cost share. So the cost share would be 50 million federal funds with a required local match of $16,666,666.67. The SUA has identified available funds for the cost share in the water fund. Approval of this resolution authorizes SUA to apply for the grant funds in the amount of 50 million. And if awarded, it would identify the cost sharing funds in the water fund. And it also authorizes the chair or the vice chair to sign any necessary documents to secure grant funding. If you have additional questions about the project, Bill Millis and Shelley Crines are here.
Trustees, questions? My only question is, have we heard anything about the availability of these grant funds moving forward? Okay. Just for folks who may not be aware of this BRIC grant program, which is a massive grant program that provides huge amounts of funding to resilient infrastructure projects, which is exactly what the city of Stillwater would be spending it on. Just as a reminder, these are our federal income tax dollars that we've paid to the federal government. We'd like a little bit of those back. We've also been participating in FEMA's technical assistance program, which we awarded one of just a few communities around the country that were brought into the technical assistance program to help us prepare for this grant so that we have a better chance of actually receiving money from the BRIC program. So really appreciate all the staff's work. You guys, I know the TAP program we've been working on with them for a year and a half, 2 years. I know we've had FEMA representatives that we took on a tour of the water line and everything. So it's been a long, involved process, and getting this grant application submitted is going to be the conclusion of a lot of hard work. And hopefully all those funds remain available so that we have a chance to bring them back here. Questions, comments, or action on the resolution?
I move adoption of resolution SUA 2025-1.
Second.
Motion and a second to adopt the resolution. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, that resolution is adopted. Any reports from the officers of the board?
Somebody didn't vote.
We got a full vote on there, right? Yeah.
Okay. Looked like
It was
four,
approved with a
sorry.
vote of 5-0. It was slow on that last one, but it popped up there.
Okay.
Any reports from the officers of the board? Is there a motion to adjourn SUA?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the Stillwater Utilities Authority. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, the SUA is now adjourned, and that concludes our meetings for the evening.